Still doing the twist. Oh, I'm live. Oh, disaster. Hello. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you both. Hope you're doing very well. I've had a disaster trying to get on this live tonight once again. I've done it a bit later for you, Sharon, as well, because I know you work late. Can you hear me okay? So, oh, bless. I'm just trying to just sort this out, guys. I'm sorry about that. That's good news today, by the way, Sharon. That's good news. There's 3 people in here. Hello, all. Hello, Craig. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing very well, mate. Give it a couple more minutes. We're getting quite busy. 3 in the room. Woohoo. Oh, bless you, Sharon. Oh, that's good news, mate. That's what you needed. Great, but just be careful with the protests and all that. Do everything by whatever the book, you know what I mean? Any excuse, because you know what they're like. But I've shared something on X. I don't know whether you guys heard about it. Our dear leader, quite obviously, I've got to be careful with what I said, because last week when I come off the live, I lost 10 subscribers. So, you know, I must be saying something right. But as I don't know whether you've seen it on X, I put up a video of our dear leader. He's given £10 million to mosques for protecting themselves because of the attack on that synagogue, you know. And I'm sure, I'm certain the geezer's totally delusional. I mean, what is he doing? Is he paying them money to not do it anymore? I mean, what's he up to? If anyone deserves the money, it's us and the Jewish communities, to be honest, but we don't count. I know. I totally agree with you, Sharon. I mean, what is he thinking? I mean, I'm disgusted with it. There's 5 people in the room now. Please all give us a thumbs up and a share if you could. Let's see if we can build this up a tad. Yeah, and if Don's out there, thank you, Don Carter, for that contribution on Buy Me a Coffee. That is extremely generous, and thank you so much. And that'd be saved for good use, believe me. You know, but yeah, Sharon, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I actually made my blood boil. I mean, he was sat there and he annoys me, as you all know. But we'll try to keep a tad calmer tonight, because I don't know whether I said some bad words or something like that. But yeah, that is just unbelievable. And I mean, please ask me some question, guys, and you know, we'll go from that. But I mean, we got that with the mosques. Then we got UKIP's march. I'm not a UKIP fan personally, but anyone apart, I'd vote in Freddy Krueger if it meant getting rid of that lot. But we've got that, and their march being banned in Whitechapel. I mean, the football ticket holders, then all over X and TikTok, you've got them just threatening, and I mean, just posturing like, you know, how they're running the place. Oh, sick of him or sick of them, or when are they going to get sick of him? I mean, but at the moment, he's just a useless idiot, Sharon, to be totally honest. And in the grooming gangs, I mean, I don't know if you guys seen any videos or anything that I did, But he is, well, I think they're going to need an inquiry into the inquiry on why the inquiry has not taken place. I mean, I reckon they should get what's her name, Maggie Oliver, um, to chair it, and but everyone's walking away from it because this government's discussing, and that Jess Phillips, she needs totally sacked and investigated because she is a total. Oh, well, I hate saying it, but she's a tramp of a woman, and I just don't see it happening under this. As I say, I think they could just keep kicking the can down the road, and just I feel sorry for all the kids, and to be honest, yeah, totally. But I feel sorry for the kids involved, and to think, guys, as well, right? This is still happening as we speak. This is happening. Kids are being trafficked by these guys with the assistance of our police force, of our social services, and it's up and down the country. And I honestly believe that the politicians partake in it, have been partaking in it, and that's why they're so scared. And I mean, I don't care what sort of heartless, soulless bugger do you have to be to exchange our little kids for them. I mean, it disgusts me no end, no end. It really does. I mean, I see in Ireland, the mainstream media, they're just doing their best to vilify all those people. But why did they do that? Why was that bloke still in the country? And you know what their biggest gripe is? Why was a girl not, on her own? I mean, shouldn't a kid be able to walk about? And now look at the way they fortified that hotel. And then you've got the other idiot that was, the one in, one out scheme, and they sent him over, and he come back the next day on a dinghy, and it all starts again for him. And I'd like to know how much money our government gave him to go. I mean, I don't know. I honestly believe they're actively. Well, it's obvious if you don't believe it. I mean, I think you'd be a bit silly, but I think they're actively trying to destroy us. Sharon, they are. They all are. And a lot of heads to roll. But I mean, that Maggie Oliver, she's got some previous. She used to work as a police officer, but she got, sacked and everything because she became a whistleblower. And I just think she's the lady for the job. She seems that, but no, they're going to get up. We don't want a judge in there. I mean, we all know what the justice system now, and the only good news about anything today is that Wayne O'Rourke's has been released. And hello there, John Capone. Long time no see. I hope you're doing very well, sir. But yeah, it's glad to see he's out, and I hope he's recuperating with his family. Bless him. But God, what a state we're in. I know this is sacrilegious, religious to sort of say, but I'd want the Americans to invade us. I'll actively help them. I mean, because it's getting unbearable, to be honest. Every day there's at least 5 or 6 different essays that are being reported, or someone's on trial for doing it, and there's all sorts of. They're doing it on a daily, and they come over here knowing they're going to get away with it. But if we post or moan about it, we go straight to jail. And then you've got the airport guys. I mean, has anything happened with them dudes yet? I've still got no idea what's happened to them. I don't know. I'm at my wit's end, to be honest. I don't know. I think the way they're going and the way people are feeling, I just feel, I mean, how long are they going to keep talking about it? Yeah, I have, John. I have been watching it, and I tell you what, out of all of that, one thing that did make me laugh is when the police horses were there, and then the Dublin boys, they charged through the police lines with their horses. They had their own horse brigade. But no, I totally believe them. I believe in everything they do. I'm not condoning violence or anything of the sort, but I'm 100% behind them. Yeah, I am, and I just wish it's we'll do a little bit more. But we've all been, everyone's been coward in this country ever since what happened with the Southport incident. I mean, that Wayne fella, for instance, what did he do? All he said was this guy was not a Welsh choir boy, you know, and he said exactly what it was. It got later proven, and they still kept him in prison, and they wouldn't even allow him out on a tag, while allowing out bundles of other people on early release. And I know that there was definitely one because I've done a piece on it months ago, okay, where he got released and he went on to commit an unaliving of someone. Yeah, Khan. Khan is a dirty rat. He is the enemy within, Khan. And I mean, if you guys think back to when we all had them problems, you know, the 7-7 and all that. Who was representing that mob that, you know, got caught? You're not the ones that actually succeeded in doing it, but the one, you know, the event afterwards. It was Khan. Khan is the enemy within. I can't believe he got voted there. It's all a scam. Personally, I'd love to see Adam Middleton there, but I don't think he ever would because I think the voting system's crooked. Yeah, yes, John. Yeah, they actively. I was reading up from was it GB News, and one of their reporters, and I mean his jacket that he had on that openly stated it, and he got pepper sprayed and attacked. Yeah, I don't blame you, Sharon. I mean, you know, they've already started. They've already called the Pink Ladies, right? And that consists that organisation that you're now a leader of a certain branch, right? And well done. I'm well proud. But they've vilified you guys already, calling you right wing. We've got people that have got sheets on their heads, can hardly speak English, and actually dictating the law of what we and you and what our people can do in this land, and I'm sick of it. I'm at the end of my tether. I mean, Wales is in serious trouble. They're outnumbered now. There's more of them there than what there is the Welsh, and I mean their voting's come up, and they've got a woman in a hijab. For you know, like it's just the eye slot. I mean, you don't even know who you're voting for. I mean, I don't know. Just vote for anyone to get them out, guys. We cannot. And I did one thing on the right. I mean, there's so many parties, and you've got others that are championing this party. You know, why don't we just champion being unified, all get together and just get the win? Because it's never been so important. Because I honestly don't believe that we could last to 2029. They're cancelling local elections. The way it's going, and it's like it's our way or no way. Okay. Do you really think they're going to be there for the general election? Do you really think they're going to do that? Yeah, that could be a flashpoint as well, Sharon. Danny Tommy calling all the men. But did you see what they were doing? Calling and threatening, calling the women like the B word, you know, threatening violence. And the police were just ignoring them and more concentrating on pushing back the Patriots once again. Do I think Tom will ever meet Trump? I think so. I think so. I honestly believe that Trump is watching very closely, and I think it's going to go so far. And maybe they're just waiting for the people to turn and then come riding in as heroes. You know, if you love or hate the man, I mean, look what he's doing for America. I mean, they were in such trouble, and if he didn't win that presidential election, where would they be, and where would the world be? He sort of slowed it down, and then every time he comes over, it gets slowed down, and every time he goes away, we get punished. You know, I don't know. It just upsets me, the whole lot. I feel like someone that bullies you and then expects you to be their best mate afterwards. That's what he's like. He's so blatant with it, with the Chinese scandal, and what it is, it's one scandal after another that's covering up the other scandal, the previous scandal. I mean, what scandals have we got coming next week? I mean, we've had the Chinese scandal, the grooming gang scandal, and God knows what else this week. Every day there's something with these guys. And then they're talking about, all cut tighten your belts, do this, do that. And they all fly around on private jets and whack out big bills and just consuming all our money as if we've got any. He's got more than the balls. His balls are too big for a ballroom, put it that way. If he came marching in, I think the government would be too scared to do anything. I mean, the way he mugs them, start them off, he's got to know. I mean, there's no way. I mean, he speaks to Elon, doesn't he? And there's no way with Elon with that platform and all the stuff that goes up on X. I mean, because the only reason it goes up on X like it does is because it's only if we did it on here, it wouldn't get around. Just look at what happens to my account, right? And everything it's so corrupt, And then them guys, they don't get taken down when they put up videos. And the way it's heading, guys, it won't be pretty. It won't be pretty. If they win this and they get their way, God help the lot of us. And I really mean it. God help us. And then I'll put up another picture. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think it's from some church, the Church of England, maybe. It wouldn't be a Catholic church. God hope so. But, I mean, they're all there with the trans flags, with all these trans colours. And you know what? It just disgusts me. It really does. I mean, I just don't know. And the whole lot of them, they're all corrupt, they're all dodgy, and they're all bent as a 2-bob note. I mean, but anyone else, please come on, give us a question. But I'll slip on X and see if there's anything come up. But that usually, that just drives you mad at times. But I've been watching Tommy's stuff on his little holiday abroad there, and some of it, but that's a different kettle of fish, Shell, man. That ain't nothing to do with that. So they've got now. There's a video up there now of her, Shamood, up there giving it large in a mosque about how they're getting £10 million cash to protect Muslims. I mean, how unreal is this? I mean, they can go out and commit an atrocity and they will get paid for it also. I mean, we're putting them up in these hotels. And another thing, did you see... Yes, it is, John. Yeah, that's a signed pic of a picture of Drop Dead Fred. Yeah, it certainly is the main man. Now, that was a real godfather of London. That's the top geezer. Yeah, Tommy. I mean, he went. He was speaking to the Palestinians, and they live in absolute poverty. Okay, right. All the money that is being channeled in there for all these charities is not going to them. That's a fact, right? And I'll be screaming about this for ages, right? And it's not going to them, and it's going to the Hamas and all them other dodgy lot. And what they do, because they're in so much poverty, they keep brainwashing them, right? But say for instance, a doctor's on like £500 a month, right? Okay, just for argument's sake, if they go out and kill a Jew or a non-believer, right, and get martyred doing it, that family will receive 3 times that amount per month. So that leaves them out of poverty. That's why they're doing it. I mean, the majority of them people in there don't want to know it. They hate them themselves, but if they talk up, they live under a real tyranny. But all of those marches, all of them people, they don't do that. I've put up videos of them turning on the Palestinians. And, Tommy, and then Tommy about the migrants there as well. That was a different one. We seem to get all the aggressive guys. He's there talking to them. They're all integrating because Israel didn't know how the migration or, migrants went there. But they've been there for ages. They're doing it all like properly. They're working hard. They don't get problems. Yeah, Craig, I'm telling you now, Starmer is no man. He is far from it. He is a complete complete wrong 'un. It's unreal. You could not trust that man with your pets, let alone your kids. Bella Banda. Pay for slay. Just watch it. Yeah, I think if it does go off on in Southampton at the weekend, I truly hope the boys are there prepared and ready, because I don't trust that other mob. They're going to have to get. They're going to be up against the police, all the left, all of these so-called gays for Palestine, all that shenanigans, and then them. I mean, Christ, we're up against it. No, I don't trust. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, no. I mean, I don't know if you've seen them disgusting things them trans are all up to, man, indoctrinating these children and telling them that they're in the wrong body. Hello there, Tweety Pie. Morag, sorry. Uh, your excuse for being late. Oh, bless you. I hope you're doing very well. I didn't see the one, Craig, where he was talking to the in-man, but their attitude seems a lot different. I don't know. I just think we're getting a very, very bad lot of people coming in this country, and they're hell bent on. Well, it seems like the women and children are fair game, and if you're one of us and you get beaten up by a mob of them, it's overlooked. You know, I mean, even you get smashed all over the place. Say it was valid because it was a racist. You were a racist or something. That's like what they do. I mean, I'm disgusted with it. And I really am. I can't incite anything, quite obviously, but I'm totally behind them boys in Dublin, and let's see what happens in Southampton. But then if they, I can't get to it. And then with the football match as well, Birmingham. I mean, we should put the troops on the street. Yeah, but you've got to think about it. You know, we didn't have, Sharon, any problems, did we? Until we started letting in the hate preachers, and then the open doors, and it's all just been trouble since then. And that was with Blair. I mean, I used to go to football, walk past that Finsbury Park Mosque. There was never any grief until they got a hate preacher in there, and then once you get them idiots in there, they're totally nasty. And to be honest, with the new arrivals, they're all just low IQ'd idiots, and they just believe in anything. And they're all going to be radicalised. It's only a matter of time before something else happens. God forbid, and I really hope I'm wrong, but it's only a matter of time, you know. And I'm certain Iranian, Syrian, all sort of sleeper cells. And I'm getting sick as well with these people calling me a shill and saying I was getting £1,000 a post on X. I really wish I was, but you don't get Jewish grooming gangs, do you? You don't get them going out on the streets and wanting this and wanting that. They keep themselves to themselves. They're very private, to be honest. I lived next door to Stamford Hill, not actually right in on it, and they they're all right. They weren't bad people. Got the occasional idiot or bully, but then there was usually a straightener, and that would be resolved. Yeah, I hope Tom is making some very good, strong, influential friends. And I mean, isn't Vance over there at the moment? I mean, maybe he might have a little secret meet up with him. I don't know. But I see. Yeah, did you see the one where he had that argument with that female reporter? But she was a bit of an elder lady, but she worked for Channel 4. And, you know, once again, trying to say he was a right wing thug. And when he was confronting her and asking her, what is he? And why was she just wouldn't go off the narrative, and she wouldn't answer the questions. And to be honest, it was a bit embarrassing on their behalf, but it would totally expose them for what they were. And then when she walked away, you know, yeah, she looked shocked. Oh, I'm still a victim. But she also looked like She she was ashamed. Exactly. That was it. She just yeah, she was Channel 4. Exactly right. But he he went a bit nuts on her, didn't he? Well, not like aggressive or anything. He wasn't like that, but he did put her in her place. And I watched an interview of him with two young reporters there the other day, and I'm learning quite a lot just watching him on this trip. I mean, he's on a fact finding mission, and he's doing a. I've always I enjoy his journalism, to be honest. I think he'll make a great he's like the it's a Robert Cook of the modern day. He's a right good investigative journalist. I mean, if he wasn't been and has been smeared so much, he'd make a great person to, at least put some input onto an inquiry if there was some into the grooming gang. Can you imagine the amount of information that he could hand over? Yeah, but he won't be able to do anything. I mean, I was watching. I don't know if you guys seen it. Have you seen what those blokes are being fed and how they're being treated in those hotels? And we've got people on food banks, kids starving, everyone's struggling. Everyone is struggling. There's not a person I don't know that ain't struggling, and they just keep squeezing us. And we've got the budget coming later in November, haven't we? I mean, she's blaming already Brexit for that because that's what they do. That's what the SNP have done up here for 15 years. And by God, if the Scottish vote that lot in or any other party that's similar to them again, this country is lost. Scotland's lost. And they go on about independence. That just proves that they're so anti English in Scotland, then they've made their bed and lie in it. See you later, John. You take care, my fella. Take care, mate. God bless you. It's nice to see him. Been a long time no see, to be honest. Yeah, and we're paying for them, but they've got all fresh fruit, they've got all juices, they've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, all laid on. I mean, everything. I mean, if you go to an hotel, it's a bit of a treat, isn't it? When you get a little bit of all of that, and they've got that every day. We're paying for it. We're all paying for that, and then we've got kids starving. I know people that are struggling, man. I mean, I went to the co-op earlier with the wife, and they've got all the meat. Every bit of meat is like, they do the razor blades with tracker devices on them. I mean, that's how bad it is. And then you'll see, and you get a few groceries, and it's 40 quid. Yeah, but see you later, John. So I don't know. I mean, you've got her there. This new post. It's all about that. The 10 million. I mean, the British Patriots just put on X. A foreign Muslim attacks a singular mosque equals £10 million in security to the mosques. I look. I know. I could get confused with everyone, but I know we're not. I mean, I live in Scotland. I've lived in Scotland for coming on 25 years, and I love Scotland. But I do know what a lot of people think in Scotland, and I do know how they go on. And I still, that some of these SNP, they're worse than the cult members. They will not see anything apart. They want independence. And then it's the SNP that are raising the flag outside the Scottish Parliament, right? And it's not our flag, it's that pretend state flag. It should not even be recognised as a state. And then you've got George's Square in Glasgow with all of them occupying it, flying them flags, letting off flares of fire. Where were the police? Let's all get a firm together and let's all go down there and all start waving the Scottish flag and start celebrating us. It won't happen, And then as well, and there's another. Well, it's more than a rumor, to be honest. It's happening. But the Poppy Day parades in towns up and down this country for the brave men that have fallen for this country and women. Okay, everyone that's fallen for this country, that is a traditional thing that we've all known. Okay, they're banning that in some councils. Now, how that is allowed, that disgusts me. It disgusts me more than anything. That, right? I mean, how can you ban something that means so much to us? You know what I mean? And it makes you think back. I mean, like Sharon, we've all had forefathers and great grandfathers that have been involved in all of that in the past. Was it worth their sacrifice? I mean, to be treated, their memory to be, treated like this. And all of them councils that do that, when we actually get a new government, because we should do, I personally, I would like the proper military to take over. You know, you see it happening all around the world. You know, when they just get rid of them. I mean, how much more can the police say, "Oh, this is all right," or the army say, "This is all right"? When someone's going to say, "We can't allow this to happen," you know, especially with the Chinese and this Islamic, they've all done an unholy alliance, and then once they get what they want, there'll be a civil war amongst themselves for a while, and then the usual mob come out on top, and we'll end up like Iran after 1979. Just the same way. If you look at the way it happened in Iran, it's the way it happened here. It's going to happen here, and it's happening here. You know, it's the same old, same old. Hope you're cooking something nice. Sharon, I had my tea not long before we got on. Sorry, Shal. I know. Hot dogs. You can't beat a hot dogs. Hot dog, hot diddly dog. I remember that from my eldest girl watching the Disney Channel before it all went weird and wokey. But yeah, I mean, Scotland's got. I mean, hopefully reform. I don't know how big they are up here. I mean, the Conservatives, Labour, Greens, all of them, they cannot be allowed. If they get power, Scotland's lost. You know, and then that'd be Wales, Scotland taken, and then it just leaves England that are up against it, and then they're full. I know, Sharon. I know it's terrible. I mean, is it worth it? Has it been worth it? And do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if that buffoon sold the Falkland Islands, you know, gave that back to Argentina. I mean, and then you got the idiot saying, giving compensation about the slave trade. Don't they understand anything about what we did to stop that? And don't they understand it was their own people that sold them as a commodity to the Arabs and the Europeans? And then later the Americans, they really don't understand any of it. They've got nothing. And I saw one piece I was watching, I went on some, I'm having a bit of back and forth with one of these Musi Brigade, and he keeps putting out these stupid things. Oh, there was a woman walked down the street, she fell off a bike, a man with brown skin. He come up and helped her. Then another one, the next day it'd be, oh, there was a man that got told that he's got tumours here and there. There was nothing but a brown man was walking past. He heard their story and he operated and removed all the tumours. And I say, what boy BS? I say, why don't you do this one? You know, women and children are being attacked daily by brown men in England, in Britain. You know, they never reply. They're just stupid one. Ugh. Yeah, you know, and they're wondering why they've got problems to recruit. You know, I just wish there was an alternative to the main military and there was another military wing for the British people that could be totally. Could you imagine how they could be recruited now? You know what I mean? And sort this out. Because, yeah, it would be messy. It would be bloody. It would be, because you can imagine. They're talking about shortage of housing. They're talking about the state of the national health. We get rid of all of these ponces, because that's what they are. We got rid of them and stop giving them housing, stop allowing them to use the national health. Wouldn't be a problem. There really wouldn't be a problem. And you know, these one guy, diversity, we need immigration now, not no more. It's gone too far now. I mean, how much generous and kind can you be? We've been a kind nation for all I've ever known. Never had a problem, did we? Never had a problem, right? And then this is just getting, they're just trying to take, and they are a backwards, thick, uneducated people. There's only a few of the privileged ones that have got anywhere, but they're infiltrated and they've been brought up from birth to get into politics, to be a doctor, to get into this position, to be a policeman, to be that, so that they can do what they're doing now. You know, it disgusts me. So, but has anything happened with you lot of guys? I totally agree with Sharon. And there's no more excuses how veterans and homeless could ever be. Because once this is resolved, this is how bad I'm against it. So everyone that owns them hotels, they should be confiscated from the owners, right? And nationalised. And a few of them, because you won't need as many, but have one for the drunks on the streets, put them up, get them the proper medication, doctors, right? One for the veterans, you know, one's for the veterans so they can go to feel some belonging, be amongst people that have got, you know, buddy, because it's like a buddy system in the services, you know, get them with their own, get them the proper treatment, and the people on drugs, get them proper treatment. And then I would start building asylums once again. And then, you know, all of these idiots that keep going on preaching this, and I'm talking everyone out. If they've not spoken out against what's happening, they're no friends of ours. That's what you've got to understand. They're no friends of ours. And it ain't just the Muslims as well. You've got these Romanians and these thingies coming here and attacking our women because they think they're fair game. Now, if you went over to their country and done that, by God, you'd be put in front of a firing squad. It's disgusting and it's upsetting. And it's sad to see us so weak. You know, but they shouldn't, after this, and we do clean them. Yeah, as I say, these hotels, take them off them, right? And if we can afford, I wouldn't mind taxpayers' money going towards paying for hotels for people like that. If the drunks that can't help themselves, right? Because they've got to help themselves to be helped, but there will some that will not be able to do that. You know, put them up in a place and let them drink themselves to death at their own expense. But the rest, get them restarted. Train our young as well. Bring back apprenticeships. Bring back all of this. Stop foreign ownership of housing in this country as well, because you'll find there are a lot of the ones that have sold us out. Right? Stop all of that. Okay, I'd stop the whole lot. I wouldn't have them. And then the social housing, there'd be plenty for everyone. And it was, I mean, everyone. You know, even if you've got a job, you don't have to be a girl that's being single, being pregnant, so they can pull that old trick of chestnut again. None of that anymore, right? Or pretending you're gay. No offense, Sharon, but you know what I mean. But people, guys pretending they're gay to get a house. You know what I mean? No, just do it. Go there. You get marked up and you get done, and there wouldn't be a waiting list like there is now, right? And get everyone back, and then get us all people that are out of work. You've got so many months. You get a choice of going into school and re-educating yourself, or getting trained up into something. And if they say they're medically, get proper doctors to examine them and then find something for them to do. I mean, not people that are like Stephen Hawkins or on ventilators or on serious, you know what I mean? People that can, you know, do things. But, you know, with this AI as well, you know, there's one checkout in the supermarket. It's only a little supermarket, but it's only a little town I live in. But there's one checkout, right? All the rest, apart from the counter, you know, where they do the fags and the lottery, all the rest are self-service. I mean, how many people's that out of a job? And that's always busy. And you're seeing people using it and you're thinking, Christ almighty, what are you lot doing? I've refused point blank to use them and are getting a lot of arguments about it. Yeah, definitely. Also, bring back the scouts, boy soldiers, boy girls, you know what I mean? Totally trained from a young age, you know, like youth clubs. You know, I would, the schools and these school archers, I think if you took away the immigrants and their children, because they've got to go as well. I'm sorry if they're born here, don't give them a right to be here anymore. Them days are gone, right? Get rid of them and you'll find that the violence will fall. I mean, I went to a rough, bloody school, right? And no one would use a tool. That was so rare. And if it did happen, it was usually black on black, right? You never, if you got known as a tool merchant, you got a good hiding from the older generations for being like that. You got known, it went round the manor, and you got sorted out. So no one really did that. So I want our Middleton, and I want proper military people in now. I really do, and I want foreign nationals, and I think it goes back to the '60s as well. You know, guys. You know, we're being well. Our politicians and these privileged sausage jockeys, I'm sorry, guys, right? They have been on the take from these Arab nations for a long, long time. And as I said in the last live last week, the Muslim Brotherhood, they've got to be outlawed. Antifa has got to be outlawed. Or the schools, the universities have got to be gone straight through. Once you get, because their big classes won't be overfilled. There won't be all these different languages there. Right? If you can't speak English, you're not involved. End of. And if they come here, once things are settled and they come here, they have to pay for everything. Right? And doing it, because now they're talking about retiring at 74. How many people do you know get to that nice old age? You know, with all the stress, with everything that goes on, you're very lucky to hit like 70, aren't you? You had a really good innings. Yeah, Richard Inman, he don't hold back at times, does he? He's a bit of a firebrand, old Richard. Bless him. He's a nice guy, Richard, to be honest with you. Reached out to him once or twice, a couple of us did. Well, I didn't realise I was sitting next to one of his friends, or standing next to one of his friends on one of those demos once. And he connected up with us and told us how to do a demo and what to do and what not to do. And that's why I mean, Sharon, just do that. And if not, hit someone like him. You know what I mean? Contact him. He's not one of those that keep going on about, oh, it's this, my platform. It's just because I tell you, I'm getting scared. I'm getting sick of just being repetitive. We all seem to be talking about it. Tommy's out there highlighting things, but I think Tommy's gone a tad further than anyone else because he's going on the ground, and I think he's making important friends for us in important places with proper influence. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I mean, the national health is terrible, you know. I mean, I've got my first scan on the 26th of November, and I saw a video, and I never felt so disheartened, thinking I could have had that scan like in October, but all the hospital wards, all the translators, and they're all foreign translators. You know what I mean? So they're the only ones that are going to prosper, guys. You know, we're just going to get poorer and poorer, and they're going to have everything. We're going to be catching the bus or the horse and cart soon, while those lot bust around in their Audis trafficking our children. Well, not my children, or I hope none of yours, because it'd be put a stop to. Nearly cooked, nice one. Yeah, I'm just sick of it. It's like the day I got a you know, what's it, a SIM card for a phone. This one here, and I just wanted it to be like, you know, not know. I don't know. They're called the burner phones, aren't they? Right. I got a phone call today from the EE, right, and a lovely young lass, bless her, but information because I'm going to cut it off. That's all being finished with, and then to register it into that. And it was mind blowing. And then she said, "Yeah, the money's going up £2.50 next year, and then £2.50 the next year." And I said, "What's that £2.50 for?" And it's to the government. That's what they have to pay the government. You know, so hence a little bit more money into their coffers to pay for them to give away. And then the glass company, did you hear that one? I put up on X. They got, we're closing firms down, right? Loads of companies have been laying off workmen, right, in factories. These people need jobs, right? That's what keeps economies going, and is actively destroying them, right? Saying he can't do this, can't do that, but at the same time, he gives £100 million to a Belgian glass factory. so that they can keep manufacturing goods. You know what I mean? So that we can import them and sell them to us. It's disgusting, totally. And they really are actively acting against us, and no one's seeming to do anything. And then you got them in that House of Commons talking the same old scripted crap. I want to snap election tomorrow, to be honest with you all. Hey, Sharon, bless you. Bless you. Hot dogs. That's my little cheeky treat that I get a hot dog from this place I know near us. It's like a cafe, but it's got like a trucker's bit at the back, and I go there and park up the motor, and I get a coffee and a thing, and I just clear my head. It cost me £5, but by God, it's the best hot dog I've had. You know what I mean? I get them all the time. Well, not all the time, but every now and then I have a crafty one, yeah. But is anything happening with you guys at your end? I mean, any of you going to venture down to Southampton? I mean, I would, but it's too far. I couldn't get there if I wanted. Craig, they've already got us working until we're in a box, mate. I mean, what's happened to all the money? I mean, people have been paying their national insurance. I've been paying my national insurance since I left school, you know. And then when I went self-employed, I had to pay your stamp. It was so important you paid your stamp. You know, where's all that money gone? I mean, I saw a video again of this builder guy. He needs to have his hip done or something, but he can't afford to go and get his hip done, and he can't afford to take time off work because he's self-employed. That's how nuts it is. You can't be a hot dog. Yeah, but Craig, yeah, they will, mate. I mean, that's if we get that far. And then what they do, the minute you drop and you fall off the treadmill, no longer, you'll get taxed, and then your kid will have to step onto that treadmill because one, the education ain't been there for them and hasn't been offered there for them, and they'll have to continue where you left off. And then we're going backwards. We are really, really going backwards. 10-year waiting list for my needs. See, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen if we didn't have tourists coming over here and getting all their stuff done. And I know that as a fact because I know people that have done it. You know. But the national wealth, I mean, it's just full. And then you've got them hotel people why are they being put up like this? I don't know. But they get the dentists. Right? Has anyone tried ever getting a dentist appointment? I mean, you've got to pay for it. I mean, I've got a relationship with my dentist where I pay dribs and drabs, build up a bit of credit with them, leave it there, forget about it, lose the money, you know what I mean? Paid a few quid each month, snuck away, right? And then when the time comes or one of my girls needs something done, I just say, go and do that and then pay off that, you know, and then find out if there's any more to pay or if there's any change and then just do it again, thankfully. But they don't, and they've all got nice teeth. You know, and they're ruining everything. Litter everywhere, dumping rubbish everywhere, attacking everyone, no-go zones, you know what I mean? Mosques everywhere. The country has gone to pot. It's gone crazy. And you know what, I'm not scared of being arrested, to be honest with you. I dare them because one, I would not be taking their legal representation. Two, I'd never cop a guilty. And three, I'm just showing how patriotic I am. I love my people. I love my country. I love my culture. It's disgusting what's happening. You've got a right to talk. But they're just going to try to silence us. And I know what Labour are like as well. As I said, I got brought up in Haringey, right? And that's always been a Labour stronghold, right? Reason being because it's got the black community there, right? And the way us whites got victimised, bullied, second-class citizens, they got everything. And they were continuously taking the pickle out of us because they did. Well, kids, and they were laughing, going, well, I can get this now, I can get that. And they got everything and we got left behind. I mean, and our kids, how demoralised are they? When they go to school and they're brought up told to be ashamed of what they are, they want to take them out to see mosques. Why don't they take them out and go and see some historic sites like castles, learn a little bit about our history? They don't do none of that anymore. And if a teacher dares to say anything or go against that narrative, what happens? They end up having to go into hiding because of these rockmen, barbarians. I've seen more class out of the people on bloody Game of Thrones than I have at this lot. I despise them, and it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse, and it's getting worse on a daily. Yeah, all scared to offend, but them days are gone. And the people that are still doing it, people call me right wing all the time. Yeah, okay, I'll have that, no problem. Well, Simon, what am I going to be next week? And I said to a lefty the other day, now you're the right wing. You're right. You've gone so left. You've gone onto the upper rights now, mate. You know what I mean? They're all scared. Everyone's scared to be offended, or to offend. And the minute you do, they play on that all the time. Even like that little shit that was in the court with that poor laddie, with the blade at the school. I mean, there was so much previous on that. They could have stopped that, right? And they didn't. Why? Because they don't want to offend. Why wasn't that boy put in prevent? Why wasn't that boy locked up? Just like what happened, the Southport incident. There was history to that, leading up to that. That could have been nipped in the bud before anything happened, right? But no, we don't want to do that to offend. They foul. They foul. They always foul. I mean, how long? I'm not inciting nothing, of course, but how long is it going to be before men are going to step up? That's my question. Right? How long? Right? Because God forbid, if anything happens to my kin, right, no matter what part of the country they're in, there'll be no police required. And if any coppers ever so want to use this against me, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But there'll be no police required because they're not good for purpose. There won't be a justice system needed. Nope. And then you got those guys. I shut them up when they go on about that. Oh, you're right wing and all that. I go, well, why don't you just shut up for diversity's sake? You are the problem, part of the problem. There was a thing I was watching. What is it? The football show. Before I was watching on the Sky, the Sky Sports thing about the footy, and I had Tottenham on there, and it's Black bloody month, whatever it is. I can't wait for the white Anglo-Saxon month or the Celtic month. You know what I mean? But he was visiting a school, and I have a suspicion, I really do, that it was my old school. I really do. I was trying, when you're looking at the camera and you think, oh, that looks familiar, all that looks familiar, that's been modernized, that could be. And there was not one white pupil, right? And they're going in there, and he was going in there telling them all about how he's received this racist abuse. Yeah, this player that's on about 250 grand a week, privileged. And all you saw was white teachers there with their, their little rainbow things on, going, you think, Christ almighty, and that's just in my lifetime. Yeah, you'll be safer out there, Craig, to be honest with you, mate. Go to a Muslim country because they're not there. They only have the good guys. I mean, where are the good guys here? We never had a problem before, so we know there are good guys, right? Because they never cause trouble. But now that all this is brewing and everyone's got an answer, where are they? What are they doing? There's only a few. It's only a few. I can't understand either how women can defend this, because I remember as a young lad, all the fighting, all the demonstrations, all the militant women that, we used to take the pickle calling them feminists and all that, but all these women that fought for women's rights, equality, and all of that. And the minute you go over to that, and if they succeed, that is all gone. Now, I'm a member as well with the animal rights, right? They were mad. They were crazy. They were nuts, right? And they were like military. Okay, where are they now with all this halal food? I mean, that is so horrific that I cannot stomach the thought of eating food now, like meat, because the way they get slaughtered, that is so barbaric, and that is all to appease these. Well, I don't know, because I get thingy on here. I mean, I come off this live in a week when we come off it, and I'll guarantee that I've lost subscribers again. And my thing from when it was like 3,000 views on the live, I'm down to like 35. On a video, when I used to get 1,000, 2,000, now I'm down to 24, 34, maybe 60. It's terrible. So, I mean, I'll keep persisting because, as it says in the description, I'm here to try to highlight it, but at least I've got some like-minded people amongst us, and that's lovely, it is, and that's what I call a community. But we have got to really got to start thinking smart. In that, all these guys talking about other political parties, we ain't gonna work, ain't gonna work. Well, I mean, Scotland's coming up for voting. I want reform everywhere. I'm not reform. I really ain't reform. But I would be any other party apart from any of that mob. Right, and that's not just Labour, that's Conservatives, Greens, Libs, all of them. They are a danger to our national security. You know what I mean? And also another question: we could have the Scottish National Party. Why can't we have the English National Party or the British National Party? That's another thing. And they're trying to do with reform as well what they've done to every other party that's a threat. They try to alienate them, call them right wing, and do this. That's why I want reform to win, and they will win. Right, because Advance ain't going to do it. They haven't got the momentum. They haven't got this, and it's not like they can get local boroughs and all that. Where are they? And I love Ben Habib. I really do. I actually really like the geezer. I've seen him live, and I thought he was. I don't know. I just think he's a nice bloke. I do not like Farage. I don't like him. You know what I mean? But you know what? I don't mind him being the main man, but I'm sure he'd walk. Yeah, they're unsubscribing people. I know, Sharon. I know that's what they do. Yeah, anything that's British. And then if you noticed as well, there's another thing I would do if I got into power. I'd renationalise the railways up and down this country. I would bring back car manufacturing in the country, British made cars, right? By British people for the British people. We can buy off our own market. I'd put tariffs on imports. Okay, all these supermarkets, I'll dispose of them, right? If they don't pay full top drawer tax, right? Forget their shareholders, forget everyone else. If they don't, go back to how it was when you used to go around with your nan, right, with your shopping trolley. Remember, I used to with my nan, put in the shopping trolley, go in the shop, a bit of this, I wrap it up in a bit of paper, I do all that. All this Ed Miliband, Tony Blair, all of that shit, all of them, and the Tory governments, they would all be in jail. They would be asset stripped. Their family would be asset stripped. They'd all be in jail, and then they would be kicked out of this country. They'd be expelled. I would strip them of their citizenship. I don't care if they were born here for 15 generations. They'd turn to be traitors of the crown. And the crown, that lot would be sorted as well. Sorted. So much sorted. It would be unreal. And I would turn all their palaces into museums, and the profits will go into rebuilding this country. And it will be staffed by British people for the British people. And that could be British blacks and British whites, by the way. All right, because I ain't got much of a problem with Windrush. Okay, because they've been around as long as I have. Yeah, we've had our Barneys and we've had our trouble, but we've ironed all that out. The ones that are talking like Lenny Henry and all that shenanigans, they could do one straight away. I'd stop that, all that foreign aid. I'll tell you what, I might run for Prime Minister. I'll bloody get it done. I'm sick of all the job losses. The job losses breaks me. I used to work in a power station here, and that got pulled down, and now it's just a field, right, with a big hole in the middle. That was bloody thousands of men's work, right? I know another one, Ironmouth up here, right? I know his dads used to work on the fishing boats, used to be good graft. Right now, right, They've put poverty. All the working men clubs are closed. All the pubs are closed. Everything's closing. Right? Only hairdressers that are opening is the occasional ladies' hairdressers, because you know what I mean, right? And then it's just barbershop, barbershop, barbershop. They'd all be closed. I'd get rid of them. All them shops, they'd be gone. And don't tell me that the British wouldn't do. They say the English and the British are too lazy. That's a load of bullshit. That is because we're not given the opportunity, right? And see all these barbershops and all these shops, they get grants and loans to open up them shops and prosper. Do we? No, we don't. Our kids get nothing. I loved Lenny Henry. I used to love it when he used to go after Mrs. Johnston. You know, Mrs. Johnston. You know what I mean? How you're doing today? Let me rotivate and penetrate the garden. And Mr. Lover Lover. Used to love him, but he's a stupid racist bastard. Yeah, everything's being destroyed. Jaguar, we're bailing them out. Right, that's an Indian-based company. Right, they will take that money, they will strip it like they did with the steel industry. Okay, export all the stuff and the machinery to their third world pit. Right, and then they will close. And our men will end up out of work, and they'll end up with plenty in their back pocket, and their industry still going on child and slave labour. Do you think there's a minimum wage where they're getting all this stuff imported from? They keep saying minimum wage here, minimum wage that, right? Okay, but there's no jobs. There's no jobs. Kids can't get Saturday jobs. I'm sorry, I think it's gone a little bit too fast, a little bit too much. And this digital ID's worrying me as well, because I think they've got a little card up their sleeve with this, right? They're starting on the veterans, right? Now they're compelling them to do this, right? Because they know, one, that those guys usually, you know, they're straight, and they do it because they're told, right? But they also know they're our last line of defence, right? But if that doesn't work, you watch them. When this is why I'm worried about the election. When it comes to election time, all your Muslims and all their mother lot, they've all got them. They've already got that. They already can vote. Okay, but then they make it compulsory for us to have digital ID. We're all saying we will not comply, but if we don't comply, we'll be exempt from voting. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know how many of you know your national insurance number by heart. I do, right? Who's got a passport? We've got driving licenses. You've got rent books. You've got everything, right? But that's what they do. And that's how they're going to try to stay in power. And they keep importing, just like they did in Haringey. You know, and I've been shouting it from the rooftops. But Haringey is so corrupt, right? That you say anything, oh, I can't work this or do that, they fall for it, right? And they're disgusting. I got battered as a kid. Nothing happened, right? My cousin got put in social services as a kid. It was horrid for him. Okay, I've got 2 birth certificates. That's how corrupt they are. And then when I went back as a 30-year-old man saying I want my real identity, they said no. They said no to me. Right, and the only way that I could have half a chance of getting it was for that nice young lady at Somerset House that sorted me out, a West Indian girl, bless her, right? But the only way I could get anywhere with that is if I get my mum and one of my aunties nicked. Well, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's just, you can't be doing that. That's just a no-no. Yeah, they're all a security risk, every single one of them. You know, there is not one, right? There should not be anyone that is Muslim or from a foreign land or that will swear on the book, right? At least the IRA, the Sinn Féin, had a cause, right? They booted out the British Army, right? And then there was a good fight. They got invited into the parliament. They wouldn't swear. So what did they do? They just didn't turn up. It's as simple as that. At least they had that decency. These guys will swear on the Quran and they will go in there and they do everything to undermine everything. They've written the law. The civil service needs clearing out. As I said, the schools, the universities, they all need a good clearing out. And I'll bring the army on the streets with pickaxe handles, right? And see those demos come down on them so hard, right? So hard that they would wish the day they weren't born. They would wish it never happened. right? And they will never ever come home again, or come out on the streets again. They'll go home, crawl home with their legs broken. End of. Theo, yeah. I was an extremely big fan, babes. So I so was. I loved Lenny. I loved him, man. And then I don't know. I just think he's got old and bitter. He's off his nut. He's been too much on the laptop looking into, crap. Exactly. And the vape shops, every one of them, and then all these restaurants. Right? I mean, I'd say the exception's a bit round my way in that, because where I am, them restaurants like Indian or whatever, they don't get many. They're not here. They're very rare ones. But like Chinese, all front of house and all that. It's all British, white British, and that's the way it should be. That's why I would go there, right? And they work in the kitchens. You know what I mean? But they're just doing everything. Everything is to do them. I wouldn't want my kids working for them buggeroonies anymore, especially my daughters. No, no, no. I don't like them. I really don't. And I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting totally sick of it. And I don't think we're going to last to 2029. I hate saying it, but I really do not feel that it's going to get that far. I think something's going to happen. Maybe the Irish thing that's happening now, and what could happen with the UKIP demo that's been redirected. But there's going to be a lot of people that ain't going to like that, right? And maybe just turn up anyway. And Southampton, because how much more are the people going to take? But well, I can't say on here, to be honest with you, but it'd be a perfect way now to get this sorted, mate. And it would all have to happen at the same time and just overwhelm them, and overwhelm them we could. And we've got to do it while we can, not inciting nothing, but we've got to, because this is a Christian land. And as a YouTuber says, Fast Jet Performer, I like him, right? Islam has come here to die. End of. Okay. And if he can say it on YouTube, I can. Right? It's come here to die. Right? We have got to be Christian soldiers once more and bring back the Crusades and show them what real jihad is. You know what I mean? I've got one on there on a video going, we've been born for this, we've been from the age ready for it. Yeah, so have we, mate. So have we. You know what I mean? I'm an old bugger. I ain't got much in me, but I tell you what, I've got enough to do something. Yeah, and let the police come. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't go into any of their businesses. I use one hairdresser's, and he's an atheist because he told me so. Right, and actually, I've had eyes on him, and I've had him watched. I've watched him myself. He's a good guy. Right, I asked about him, and I use that one business. I won't have none of the other guys thinking, because they're coming over as barbers. They can't cut hair, right? But they're just coming over as if they're barbers to offer it. That's why everything the government says about skilled is a load of waffle, right? And they're saying the doctors, they're not, okay? But any other business, I will not go into their shops, sweet shops, and buy papers, or I don't buy papers or anything like. I would not do it. I would do what my old granddad did. Bless his soul. What he used to do, he used to walk about a mile and a half out of the way down up the street way to go to the only white news agents. But all up here, I'm still fortunate enough. All them sort of businesses are white run. But I don't like, even when I go in a garage and I've got them, there's always tension. There's always tension because I don't trust them like they don't trust me. And another thing I've got as well, and I can't wait to use it. And the first one that's going to be tested on it is my hairdresser. I've got one of those translating machines, and it's a handheld one, and it comes up. And I've been putting in the languages so it goes work offline. And if they could speak, but I didn't know there was so many dialects in Arabic. You've got so many. There's about 10 or 20 of them. But I'll start working out what they're doing and saying, because I don't trust them whatsoever. And you fight fire with fire. But I personally think a school's going to be targeted. No, I really do mean that. And well, maybe that would be the starting gun, eh? If you can read between the lines. They're all money laundering. They're all money laundering. I know people that are in the D world that are quite well established in the D world, and they do a lot of business with all of these people. right? And they've been pushed out on certain manners where they've been running it for decades, doing that, selling this, selling that, right? And the Albanians are terrible for it. They've all come in. The Bulgarians before them, the Somalians, the whole lot of them, they're all into it. Pakistanis bring in all the brown, the Nigerians bring in the Charlie, through diplomatic bags. That's how it always been. You know what I mean? We've got to nip it all in the bud. And as I say, get our kids off all of this shit, right? And see them parents. You've got to remember this has been happening so long. Their parents of these kids, right, are usually wanting something to fix a craving, or an alcoholic, right? That's the same thing, really. Okay. And they're not being responsible parents. And this is when those snakes move in, and then they take their young. You know what I mean? And it's happening up and down. And those third, second generation of Pakistani communities that are all, yeah, in normal days, you're part of England or part of that, but no, you're not. They've all got to go. They've all got to go. And half of them, they all go to madrasas. When I was a kid, they used to go to madrasas at a certain age. Your packing mate would I should not have said that, but yeah, they would suddenly disappear. You'd be playing out with them, and you'd be the part of the, on your bikes and all that with them, and they'd disappear for about 3 or 4 months, and then they come back, and they were totally different. We used to be, and then they'd be aggressive and anti this and anti that, and that's those madrasas. I would ban all of that, but as I said, I would get rid of the whole lot of them. I don't care how important, and even the political ones. You know what I mean? Yusuf, all the Labour up here, all of them, every single one of them, they'll all be gone. I'd start on the Europeans as well. I don't want nothing to do with them. The French, I'd put sanctions against them. I would put everything, and I would just say, right, it's going to be tough. Farmers, get working harder. You're not getting cheap imported labour. You import the kids, and you import the people around the communities or in the towns near you. You pay them half decent wages, and you're getting decent money, and then open up proper shops and just put everyone out. I don't want Tesco's here. I don't want Waitrose here. I don't want none of them here. I don't want any of them here. I do not want Uber, Deliveroo. And yeah, everyone could say I'm a nationalist, radical, whatever. They can be, we can be. Yeah, totally. Jaguar ain't what it used to be. Jaguar. You know what I mean? It used to be a nice old decent motor if you could afford it. Everything's gone. Nothing. But I'd bring it all back. You know what I mean? Leyland, everything. I'd bring it all back. Bring it all back. And I'd stop all of them airports, because you got to remember, we can get them population pushed out, and then all these Europeans that are taking advantage of everything. We've not opened borders. We voted for Brexit. Push them out, right? And people have to start paying real money for real people, and to get the British trades working again, right? See all these building contractors that are just taking advantage of it and collapsing one business, saying it's gone bankrupt, owing everyone money, then opening it up in a friend's name or a child's name and all that, and then starting again to repeat and then repeat. Them people as well. You know what I mean? I would have no tax loopholes. Everyone would be paying tax. Everyone. Okay. And it ain't about just taxing the rich. I would asset strip the rich. I have no more nobility in this country. No more this, Lord of this and Lord that. Knighthoods would be taken away as well. And Khan, well, to put it this way, he would be asset stripped, he'd be trialed, and instead of going to jail, he'd be kicked out onto the street to the masses of people, and let them deal with him as they dealt with Mussolini. Either that or what you want. But that's how I feel about him. Yeah, they've all got to go. I don't want them in the politics. There's no right that they should be there. It's unconstitutional. It's against our British constitution. Okay, refer back to the Magna Carta. All these laws should be undone. The judges system to be totally closed down, revamped, and then we'll put military judges in. You know what I mean? And do it that way. The jails. Right? Everyone that is not British, white British or black British, that goes back to the Windrush and ain't got an attitude, they stay, right? But they can get rehabilitated, and if they reoffend, well, that's it. That's it. 3 strikes and you're out. Bosh. I mean, all the rest, asset stripped, houses, cars. I'm talking the lot. Watches, gold, the lot. Totally asset stripped. gone. All of this DWP stuff, right? Gone. Good night, Shan. God bless you. I better start winding down anyway. We've been on over an hour and I've been on a man. Oh, bless. Yeah, I used to do that quite a lot myself, mate, to be honest. Bought a load of clippers to actually start doing that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good at doing that myself, to be honest. I look like a microphone when my hair started to grow. But yeah, that's how it has got to be, guys. So, but as I say, thanks all for joining us. And just like Sharon, I think I'm going to be calling it a night now myself. Get some grub. So let's just give it another minute or so, and then we'll wind down. But yeah, thanks everyone, and if Mr. What is his name? Oh, I'm going to say Don Carter. Yeah, it is Don Carter, the American fellow. If you get this, sir, thank you so much for that. Buy me a coffee. That means a lot. And each and every one, you please be careful. And now my real email. Okay, I still got it wrong. It's right. It's in my description. If any of you got any problems or any gossip or any news, please, like email us. And the rest of you, Sharon, good luck with everything with the pink ladies, and we shall prevail. And night, Claire, and I'll catch you all later. Thank you all so much. God bless, and I'll bring you a video later in the week. And I hope that I've not lost a load of subscribers. Bye bye, and God bless all. Bye bye.